Hello, my name is Tiffany Merck. I am here going to talk to you about my education reformer, Charlotte Mason. She was fun researching and gathering information and analyzing things that I see at our school, in my classroom, and things maybe I would like to start using that maybe I don't use often enough. And so she was pretty important, and it was fun getting to know her. So that was when she was younger, and here was her later in life. And so Charlotte Mason was born in England on New Year's Day in 1842. Both her parents died when she was 16, so she became an orphan, and this led to her move to London. And in 1860, Charlotte entered the teacher training college in London. This is where she got her teaching certificate. And so then she began teaching at Davison School. And this is where she stayed for about 10 years. And then she was offered another job at a place where she could lecture women. But whenever she was at the Davis School, she she started she started developing her vision as a liberal education for all. And so when she left the Davison School, she went to a college in Chichester, and there she took the position as a mistress of methodology or of methods, where she lectured women who were in school to pursue education. So that was pretty cool. And she gave up, but then 4 years later, she gave up teaching and she started writing books, which is kind of what she's known for. There's lots of podcasts I saw, and pretty cool that. And when she was 38 years old, she had her first series of books, and they were called The 40 Shires, Their History, Scenery, Arts, and Legends. um, these are not those books. There's another, but these are some of the several books that are kind of important now, that people look for and guide for education at home or in school. So, as you can see, there's kind of a little theme with this one. Home education, parents and children, school education, ourselves, formation of character, and philosophy of education. So this is kind of where she put all of her visions in. And then whenever she was spending her time lecturing, and this letter opened up to a training college for women. And that college moved from one place to another estate that got renamed to Scow Howe. And that's where she continued her work until she died at the age of 81. And so she lived during a time of education where it was working on moving towards a more universal and informal education for all students. And she formed her own philosophy of education while living through this change. And her methods believe that children are people that we as educators have the job of educating the whole person, not just the individual minds. And this makes me think of a lot of times whenever we are in the classroom and we're thinking of our students and our classroom structure and everything. And I'm reminded all the time of I have to look at my whole child, what they're going through. And sometimes I might have to adapt to meet their needs because they might have different needs than some other kids in my class. And so definitely can see some relevance in that in how I teach in my classroom. Her methods encourage children to always do their best and help them learn to love learning for its own sake. Her method is accomplished through real life experience with nature, good books, and warm company. Most homeschoolers are known for using this method of education because they agree with her vision of educating the whole child, and kind of the different structure that Charlotte Mason um, reformed, really. And so one of the first ways that we're going to look at is so there's three different ways. She believed that education is an environment, a discipline, and a life. And so this is the first one. And the first one is the environment that a child is in. And she right here, she's talking about where a child lives and grows in. And doesn't that kind of speak to us? Because, you know, sometimes our children are in a well-educated home, and they they at home can get food. They work on their homework if you give it to them. They have the extra help of their parents because they know the the content that you're teaching. Then there's some kids in your classroom that parents didn't graduate high school, or just don't have those skills to help their children. And so, you know, you can see this in our schools now, that we can see that the environment our kids are in, you know, can show us a lot about a student. And she believes that who and what a child is in the child's home environment, and that this is where the children learn a lot from their home, and believes that this makes up 1/3 of a child's education. And so one thing that she really talked about is narration, and I'll kind of go more in that too, because narration is really important for her, because it's the art of retelling. It builds that short-term memory. It builds the auditory memory, builds the skills and attention to observe the details, builds comprehension, vocabulary, and those skills of the sentence structures and story order. As you can see with this kid right here, it's a gentle lesson of just story order that he got, and speaking skills. The next one that I want to talk about is the discipline of habits. And here are some of Charlotte Mason's disciplines that she talked about. Attention, the ability to concentrate for a topic for a period of time. Obedience, learning to follow directions and abide the rules by rules. Thoughtfulness, being honest and truthful. Punctuality, being on time and meeting deadlines. Perseverance, sticking through with those tasks. Respect, showing respect to others. This is one of our words here at our school that I teach at. Orderliness, keeping things organized. Self-control, that's regulating our emotions and impulses. This is something that we're seeing a lot of struggle with at our school. And gratitude, expressing thankfulness for things in life. And diligence, working hard and achieving one's goals. And so she stresses the importance of forming good habits. She believes instilling good habits into a child's life is crucial in helping them receive proper education where they can learn. Um, and her philosophy was reconciling issues before they further develop. She believes that if educators train children in good habits, then the school day will go more smoothly and more productive. They said that a single good habit should be an educator's focus for the first few weeks until the habit becomes normalcy with a child's life. And my principal speaks a lot about that at our school, that the first month of I teach kindergarten. The first month we're building habits, rules, procedures, and if we work hard and if we're disciplined ourselves to build those good habits, then it'll lead to a good school environment. It'll lead to they're ready to learn. And so that one really spoke a lot to me of what we use at our school and what I use in my classroom. And then in turn, with these habits, they can build thoughts and ideas, which leads to the last one that she's really big on, and it's the emphasizing of living ideas. And this is really big for her, because this is she believed that providing students with living books to make subjects and topics come alive for children. She said that children will learn through this method with literature and have their hands on a book. And this goes back to that narration. And that goes back to when kids are reading, they can make a mental a middle connection between their hearts and minds, and that with this living books specifically, was when the children can narrate their reading, and they'll be able to make people, places, events come alive. And isn't that our job as educators, to make that topic or content that we're talking about come alive to our students? And so then those students can come, then our students can form opinions and make judgments no matter the circumstances. So I thought that was pretty cool. So her approach is, like I said, the whole person and not just to fill with facts. And so she she believed in the well-rounded educator through good literature and ideas, but spending much time outside. She really believed that the afternoons were more for leisure, and that you should be running, climbing, doing arts and crafting, cooking, and that making that connection with nature, and she stressed the importance of allowing students to discover the identity of the natural world we live in. um so right here, that's why I kind of thought those books were really like, oh, this is a lot about her. Is this her philosophy and her method is a big thing with homeschooling, the home, because it's a homeschooling approach, because she has a disregard for grades, homework, and incentives, and hers is more for drills and skills, and to concentrate on giving your best efforts in a short amount of time. And so she believes that children that are younger should have a shorter amount of time that they should be focused on, which we try to do in the general education classroom. But it's hard sometimes because we might get caught in giving more detail or something. But then as the child gets older, then the then they should have more time because they're more mature. So I thought that was interesting. And so right here, are you using the Charlotte Mason philosophy as a method or a system? And so the method part to me is more like homeschool approach, but I feel like we should use it because of the long-term goals. Okay. And but if you're using it as a system, which we typically do in our education system, in that because it's very rigid, it becomes, you do this at a certain time, do this. It's not very flexible sometimes. Sometimes we might can throw something in, but most of the time it's very rigid. And we as teachers have to make it easy to implement. And because what if we're out? We need that, sub to come in and pick up where we left off, or something happens. But with the method, it's a little bit more difficult because it's just a little bit more difficult. The method is guided by ideas, and ours is set by rules. You have to do this for a specific amount of time. I'm looking for this. Luckily, I teach at a school that we're an inquiry school, and so we want our kids to think. We want them to dive deeper into the material. So I like that part. The learning ends when the lesson ends. I like her approach with the methods because they're you have it throughout the whole time. It's not ending ever. It's just continually moving. And we try to do that too when we try to connect social studies in our writing or our reading. And then the last one is can't be standardized, but we do standardized testing. So we give it the same way, but we do it differently too. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation about Charlotte Mason. She was very interesting to listen to, and here's some of my references. And I enjoyed getting to learn about her in my research. Have a great day.